Hi everybody, we're the Cruising 2. I'm Ken,
I'm Mary Lou.
and we are here for our second video. We're going to talk about why we chose a fifth wheel. And I think the last video we mentioned was it's still right for us, so we might touch on that as well. When we started out, we really started out looking at a travel trailer. We didn't really consider a Class A motorhome or a Class C motorhome, partly because the Class A's we felt were too big, too expensive, and you had to have a tow vehicle. By a tow vehicle I mean what they call a toad, a car that you tow behind you so that when you get somewhere you have some way to get around. And the Class C was the other way. It was a little too small, but you still needed a tow vehicle. Or a toad. So we decided to go to a towable, which would either be a travel trailer or the fifth wheel. And we started out pretty much thinking we were going to do a travel trailer. We looked around, we kind of knew what we liked, what we didn't like. We thought we found a perfect travel trailer, but we couldn't find one anywhere near us. We had found it online. Then one of our local dealers was getting one in, and so we waited until it came in, and when we went and looked at it, we were not at all pleased. As far as, I think it was a nice travel trailer, and I'm sure it would have fit the needs of many people, but for us, because we were going full-time, we were really concerned about the space. Not so much the living space, more the storage space. You agree?
I do agree.
So we started looking at fifth wheels, and we started looking at relatively, small fifth wheels. Unfortunately, with anything, I think you always tend to, for just this little bit more we can get, and before you knew it, we were into a pretty good size, 37-foot almost, fifth wheel. But we felt it would be comfortable and it would be something that we could live in without getting really on top of each other. One of the things about a fifth wheel is that it has a lot of ceiling space. So I'm 6'3", but I can't touch the ceiling. So it gives you the feeling of being a little bit more spacious than a travel trailer.
Yep. I think once we started shopping around, we realized there were a few things we really wanted to have in our living space. And that narrowed the field for our choices. Because the main one was we wanted a king-size bed. And there are a lot of companies or models that don't include a king-size bed. So that kind of helped us realize where we needed to look to take care of that requirement. The second requirement kind of came after we kept looking at different layouts. A lot of them, you didn't look directly at the TV. You looked across the kitchen or from the dinette across to the TV, and we wanted to have seating just like we did at home, right across from the TV. And what we ended up with is Cedar Creek Silverback. We love it. It's been wonderful. We went into other fifth wheels. We feel that the build quality, the appliances, everything, it just felt like home as soon as we came in. We had been into two other trailers on the lot, and we came into a model like this one, and it felt like home. So we did not order it from a local dealer. We ordered it from a dealer in Ohio. We were at the time selling our home in Rhode Island, and we went from Rhode Island to Maine to stay with friends until the trailer was ready, and that did take a while. But it was considerably less expensive at the dealer that we chose. But it did mean that when we took off as complete novices on a cross-country trip. We were very lucky. We had friends who were in the area in Ohio and suggested that we stay at a city park, city campground, and they helped us a great deal, learn the ins and outs of the trailer and backing up, and we stayed, I think, 4 days.
Yep, that was at Winton Woods in Cincinnati.
Yes, and so that was our start. We had chosen the fifth wheel, then it was up to Ken to choose a tow vehicle because we knew we needed something big and something that was heavy duty. So Ken had decided on diesel, which I think most people who are towing fifth wheels do decide on big fifth wheels. Ours is 37.
37.
And that was where we ran into some problems, unfortunately. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I think what we're going to do is we might take a little bit of a break here and show you around a little bit. We have some pictures and some video of the inside and a little bit of the outside. I may try to grab some more of the outside before we actually post this, but let's see how we do. So we're going to take a break here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about the tow vehicle. Well, this is the bedroom. It's kind of hard to see because we can't really get back far enough to show the whole thing. King size bed, which was, as we might have already said, one of the reasons that we picked this RV. That was one of our main criteria was the king size bed. It's a little hard to see, but we got on the right hand side here, there's a dresser, small, has 4 drawers. Behind the sliding glass doors over here, I'll try to walk in and show, there is a washer dryer. Yep, there we go, washer dryer. It's a combo. It's fairly small, but it'll do a few things. Good for refreshing some clothes, but not really big loads. Let me get a different view over here. If we turn to the other side, there's a little bit of an indent there, an alcove. You can see I got a little table down there with my CPAP machine. A little bit better look at the dresser, and then above that we have a 32-inch TV. So that's pretty much the bedroom. So this is the bathroom. It doesn't look like much, but for an RV it's a pretty good sized bathroom. Got the toilet on the left. See the shower, it's got 3 sliding doors. I'm going to move around a little bit. You can see there's a sink. Above the sink there's a closet with a mirror. So there's Mary Lou.
Hello.
The kind of can't really get a wide enough angle to show what I really want to show, but we'll look at it this way and then I'll move down to the other end. So where Mary Lou's sitting, we have theater seats, which both recline, and then a couch in the back that opens into a queen size bed. We'll pan a little bit this way. We have across from the theater seats a 50-inch television and an island. It's maybe a little hard to see, but we only have half the sink open. You can actually cover the whole sink so that if you don't need the sink and are using it for cutting board or something, you have more room. We have a stove. Above the stove, microwave, lots and lots of storage. And you can see here we have actually a 4-door fridge. This is a good size fridge. It's an RV fridge. It's not a residential fridge, and maybe we'll talk a little more about the reasons about that. RV fridge, it runs off electric and gas. So if we were camping somewhere where there was no electrical hookup, the fridge will still work because we have our propane. And as we come around, we'll back up this way. There's another counter here, a little window. And there's a dining room table. There's 4 chairs. We only have 2 out. There's a big box there. That's something else. Okay, now we're right in front of the TV. And below the TV we have an electric fireplace. When we first Well, looking at RVs, we were looking kind of at fireplaces and going, why would anyone want a fireplace? What possible reason? But some campgrounds don't charge you for electricity, and besides being just a decorative fire, it also outputs heat. And so for most of the time here, where we are in South Carolina, the heat from that fireplace, heats the whole trailer, and that makes it a little easier instead of using the furnace, which would require us to be buying propane. And another look from the other end, kind of the long way, you can see the fridge. There's just closet storage pretty much everywhere. So that's our home on the inside. Okay, now we're on the outside, on the right-hand side of the camper. If you look towards the back, you'll see the main slide with the two windows facing to the left and the one window at the end facing towards us. You can also see a little bit of the pitch roof. We'll see if we get a better look at that. Next to the slide is the door and the stairs. The stairs are Mooride stairs, which in 2018 when we bought this camper weren't real popular yet, so that was kind of one of our factors. Much sturdier because they fold down and hit the ground as opposed to just hanging from the bottom of the camper. Coming forward a little more, underneath the Cedar Creek, you'll see two doors. The one closest to the stairs is the pass-through storage, and we'll open up and take a look at that. And then next to that, the one with the map on it, is the gas locker, and we'll also take a look at that. Okay, here's another shot of the right-hand side of the camper, and it gives you a good look at that main slide and that pitched roof, which does give you, quite a bit more headroom on the inside, as well as it helps to shed any debris that falls on the roof. Alright, let's open up this pass-through storage and have a look. It goes all the way through the other side, which we'll see. Okay, that's the door open to the pass-through. Mostly, just everyday stuff that we store in there. Most RVers would call that their basement. Okay, this is the door to the gas locker. You can see the map on there. It's a map of all the states that we've actually camped in, which I think at present is 36. So we'll open it up, and really not much in there except the two gas bottles. They are two 30-pound cylinders, and we use them for heat, cooking on the stove, and in an emergency or for somewhere where there are no electrical hookups, they run the fridge. The front, not much going on here. You can see the hitch. There's also another large storage compartment, and there are some LED lights under the point of that V, which you can use at night to hook up if you arrive someplace late. Moving around to the left side, we can see the bedroom slide here, and it also has that pitched roof. The blue things are basically so you don't bang your head when you walk around. They're just pool noodles. Underneath the slide is the electrical locker and the other side of the pass-through locker. We can also see next to that big door the water heater, then the electrical connection, and next to that the furnace. Okay, here's a longer shot of the left side. It's really the business side of the trailer. As we talked about, you saw the electrical hookup, but it's also the sewer hookup, the water hookup, and the cable hookup. So that pretty much concludes the tour of the outside, and we'll head back inside. Okay, so we're back. Hope you enjoyed the little tour. As always, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. We'll be happy to answer anything that we can. The tow vehicle, we decided we were going to buy a new camper, which Mary explained. And then, budget-wise, I totally underestimated the cost of a used diesel pickup. Certainly one that was large enough to tow the camper. The camper weighs almost 11,000 pounds dry. That would be without any, gas, propane, without it. Well, by gas I meant propane, water, anything at all. So that's the dry weight when they drop it onto the dealer's lot. Then we can add 3,000 pounds of stuff, either water or clothing and all of that kind of thing. So we're looking at a gross vehicle weight of slightly over 14,000 pounds. You're not going to tow that with a 1500 or a 150. You need a minimum really of a 2500. Preferably, we probably should have got a 3500 and going to a 1-ton. But the 3/4 ton that we purchased actually did a pretty fine job towing. It never struggled. It went up hills. It did great, but there were other issues with the truck that we're not going to go into right now. But suffice us to say, it really changed the way we camped. We learned some workarounds because, like I said, it wasn't that it wouldn't pull, but it would kind of stop going altogether. But that's for another story. So we probably should have paid more attention to the truck. I should have been more aware how difficult it would be to find a truck. Because once we ordered the camper, we had 3 months basically looking to look for a truck. And I thought, oh well, that's going to be a snap. Not so much. Used diesels are really, really hard to find, especially good ones. So if hindsight being 2020, I think we would have possibly bought a new truck. It might have stretched the budget a little bit, but in the end, I think it would have saved us a bunch of money, and it might have changed the way that we travel. So after 2 years of struggling with the truck, we traded it in on a car. And right now we do not have a tow vehicle. So the plan for this summer, when we end up our stay here at Myrtle Beach, is to put the trailer into storage. And as we mentioned in our first video, we are off for the entire summer to England. And we've rented a canal boat, and we'll be doing that. And then when we come back in the fall, we will have the trailer taken back out of storage and put back here in our spot in Myrtle Beach. After that, we're open. We're not sure 100% what we're going to do yet, but that's kind of where we stand.
I think that's somewhat scary, especially for two people who have lived in the same home for a long time and made this decision to go out on the road and had to really adjust expectations as we went. I think the most important thing we've learned, and it's a really good lesson, is that you do have to go with the flow and try not to get too over anxious. That's not how I am, but you can work through whatever the obstacle is so that you can continue your journey. And your journey and adventure may not come out exactly the way you pictured it when you started, but it's still a chance to do something that not a lot of people get to do. And we've, as I said before, we've seen an awful lot of places I never expected. And we have a dream that's about to come true. And we're very excited. We've spent, unfortunately, I think, most of this winter planning for the trip to England. And we haven't really settled into Myrtle Beach this time. We did last time. We certainly appreciate the weather here. And hopefully we'll get you outside. It's beautiful today, except it's very windy.
And a little chilly.
And a little chilly, but not Rhode Island chilly.
Yeah, people around here would be wearing hats and heavy parkas and gloves. It's like 58.
We love it. Yeah, we do love it here.
So it's a big difference from where we were from.
So I think that in a nutshell, which is one of the people we used to follow, we have had 2 years of a lot of adjusting and a lot of fun, a lot of joy. As I said, we've seen a lot. We've got to spend time with family in different places, and it's been wonderful. We hope to share some more with you. The time is coming quickly. We've got a few weeks before we leave here, and we're going to continue just kind of doing the background, showing you a little bit more, hopefully, of the Myrtle Beach and what we do here, and the preparing for the big trip.
And the campground that we're in is a very nice campground, so we do have some footage and all we'll share along with that as well. One thing that I know when we started looking at RVs pricing, and it runs the full gamut. I mean, people live very, very frugally, and some live quite lavishly. And so for us, we were looking for something, really didn't want to spend a lot of winters shoveling snow and going through all of that in the north anymore. Didn't really want to go all the way to Florida. So Myrtle Beach has been really perfect fit for me. I think Myrtle too. So we almost forgot to answer the ultimate question. Did we make the right decision in getting a fifth wheel? And if we had to do it over again, would we still?
It's an interesting question for me. Since we are living in it full time, I think we made the right decision. We have a lot of space. I think if we were towing more, we'd want a little bit less length on the trailer itself. The truck pulled it very easily, and once we got used to it, it wasn't too bad. But I still think we'd have more peace of mind with a little bit of a shorter rig if we were towing full time. But since we're living in it full time, the extra space is very nice. It's kind of not that much smaller than a studio apartment. So we have the space we need, and it's very comfortable, and I like the rig. Didn't like the truck, but really love the rig and really love the, as I said, the standards that it was built to, that it feels very formidable and well built and comfortable. We've had very, very few problems with it. And so, yep, I think we made the right decision when we chose the fifth wheel. Kind of fell into this way of living with it, but it works perfectly now.
Yeah, I agree with Myrtle 100%. I think one of the big things was when we looked at this rig, what we had said earlier was that we liked having the chairs right, or the theater seats right across from the television, like you would at home. The next size down, a little bit smaller rig, we would have had the television would have been at the back, like facing directly behind where we are now. So we would have had to pull chairs in from the side if we wanted to be sitting facing straight onto the TV. So that was kind of our decision. And like I said, I think we're happy with it. It's worked out well for us. And yeah, we'd do it again.
Yep, we would.
So you can, change your lifestyle. You can see more, do more in your retirement, and it's well within most people's budget. If you're living in an apartment or a house, you could probably find an RV that would suit you and could live a lifestyle more like ours, seeing different parts of the country, meeting new people, and exploring, which we still love to do. So I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and we will answer you. We also would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. You'd be able to do that below if you're on a computer or your phone. If you're watching on a television, I'm not quite sure yet how that works, but so it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. There's also a little bell, which you can check or not. And if you subscribe and check the bell, then you'll get a little email saying that we've posted a new video. And give us a like if you can.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And as one of our friends said, and if you don't like what you see, give us a thumbs up anyway. And so we'll be happy to hear from you. And I think we're going to close this out today with have an awesome day, because we are.